All right, we're looking at the 2-2 notes, which is another method of solving systems. What we're looking at today, different than the previous lesson, is we're looking at something called elimination. Okay, so when we were talking about elimination, or when we were talking about substitution, the other method we did in the first lesson, when we were talking about substitution, the key thing that you were looking for in your system of equations was a single variable. Okay, anytime that you had x or y already by itself, or if you had just a coefficient of 1 and it was really easy to make that x or y be by itself, that's what you were looking for. That was the key feature you were always looking for in substitution. Well, the key feature you're looking for when we do elimination is opposite terms. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that word opposite because that's the key thing that we're looking for. Okay, what we want to do is we want either the x's or the y's to be able to eliminate each other. Okay, and that's the whole point of this. So for example, when you look at problem number 1, you can see that you've got negative 6x and positive 6x. You can see that you've got negative 6x in the first one, positive 6x in the first one. What we're going to do for what's called elimination is we're going to take that and we're going to literally add the equations together. Okay, just like you were adding together 2 and 3 digit numbers in second or third grade. You're going to put a plus sign right there, draw a big bar under it like that's the equals thing, and then you look at your x's and you've got negative 6x plus positive 6x. All of that right there eliminates the x's, and all we're left with is 9y, and on the other side of the equal sign, 1 plus negative 10, you've got negative 9. Okay, so that's the point of elimination, is it gives us an equation that is really quick and really simple and easy to solve, and we can get one of our variables just right off the bat, just like that, because you already know if 9y equals negative 9, then y equals negative 1. Okay, so that's really a pretty good deal to solve for one of your variables. You can get really quick and easy if you can eliminate the other one. Okay, so we'll take that. If we've already got one of the variables, but remember it's a system, so we're expecting to have some value for both of the variables. Okay, we're not finished until, in this case, we've got x equals something and y equals something. So what we can do is we can take this y equals negative 1, and I'm going to plug it back into one of our original equations. Okay, just like we did in substitution. After we had one of the variables done, we would take it and we would plug it back into one of our originals to find what the other one was. I'm going to use the second equation. Okay, I'm going to use that bottom equation. And so instead of 6x plus 4 times y, that's going to become 6x plus 4 times negative 1 equals negative 10. Okay, so we can do that. That turns into a pretty simple equation to solve. 6x minus 4 equals negative 10. Well, we got to get rid of that negative 4 first, so we add on both sides. And then we divide by the coefficient to get the x by itself. And on this problem, we actually end up with two of the same thing. X and y are both negative 1. So for our final answer, just like we did before, we're going to put our two parts, our two variables, into an ordered pair with an x value and a y value. Both of them this time are negative 1. I want to skip now away from number 2. We're going to come back to that at the very end. I want to go to number 4. Okay, we'll go to number 4 first. On problem number 4, you can see that we've got in the x variable right there, we've got negative 4x and positive 4x. So if we add these equations together, those x's are going to eliminate. That right there all completely goes away. Okay, but what we do have left on the left side of the equal sign, we've got negative 2y plus 8y, positive 6y. And on the other side of the equal sign, minus 12 and minus 24 together gives us negative 36. All right, quick and easy division gives us that y is negative 6. Okay, remember that this part right here, that's not your final answer. That's only half of your final answer. Okay, you have to take this and put it back into one of your originals. I'm going to again use that bottom equation. It doesn't matter really which one you use. Okay, you can use either one of those equations to get the other variable, but I'm preferring to use the bottom just because we already have that y is negative, and I don't want to deal with any extra negative signs. Okay, so I'm going to use the bottom one. Okay, instead of 4x plus 8 times y, we've got 4x plus 8 times that right there. We just plug it all in and simplify everything down as much as we can. 4x minus 48. Okay, and then we just have to get that x, so we'll add 48 on both sides and divide by the coefficient. Those two blue circles are showing you what are two parts of our final answer. Okay, the two parts of our final answer: an x value of 6, a y value of negative 6. That ordered pair is our answer. That's our solution to the system. Okay, right now, I want you to give problem number 3 a try on your own. This one right here, problem number 3, give it a try on your own. Pause the video if you need to, and we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it here in just a second. Pause the video right now if you need. All right, so as you can see right here, the x's, the x values right there are what got eliminated. We had positive 4x and negative 4x, so that's what got eliminated. We're left with 10y when we add those two together, and negative 10 on the other side of the equal sign. A little quick division gives us negative 1. We plug that back in. I use the top equation, so that becomes 4x minus 8 equals 20. And when we solve for that x, it comes down to x equals 7. So that's the two parts of it right there, negative or positive 7 and negative 1 were our two parts. Okay? Moving on to number 5. Moving on to number 5, we run into a problem because we do not already have opposite terms in this system of equations. Okay, the problem we're running into right now is that we have to do something to create opposite terms. If you're going to do elimination, you have to have two of the same coefficient, but one positive and one negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that second equation and I'm going to multiply every single part of that second equation times 2. And look at what happens. Instead of negative 6x, we get negative 12x. Instead of minus 7y, we get minus 14y. Okay, what that does is it creates opposite terms right here and right here. Okay, when we multiply the whole entire thing times 2, it created opposite terms in the y's. And on the other side of the equal sign, make sure that you're doing this to everything in the whole entire equation. Okay, you can do that as long as you're doing it to everything in the equation. The x's, the y's, and the constants, you're allowed to do this. Okay, so we got to do it on the other side also and turn that into minus 20. Okay, so now that we've modified it, the system of equations that we're working with is not we're not using the second one that it gave us anymore. Okay, we're not using this one anymore. We're using our modified one along with the first one that it gave us. Okay, because now we can see that those x's right there are going to get eliminated. Boom. When we add the equations together, those y's are going to be eliminated and disappear. We're going to have negative 4x, and we're going to have negative 16 over here. So that means x is equal to 4. Okay, I'm going to take that x equals 4, just like we've done before, and plug it back into our original. I'm going to use the original up on top. I'm going to use that one right there. So instead of 8 times x plus 14y, that becomes 8 times 4 plus 14y. Okay, a little quick simplification. We've got a quick little bit of simplification. We'll have 32 plus 14y. It equals 4. Subtract that 32 is negative 28. Y is equal to negative 2. Once again, those two things that I've circled in blue, those are the two parts of our final answer. Okay, we've got an x value of 4 and a y value of -2. Remember that this x value and y value that we're finding our solutions, okay, that x value and y value are the ones that fit into both equations. Okay, this specific x and y are the x and y that you could plug into either one of these equations and it would fit both of them. All right, running on down now to number 7. Okay, we're going to do number 7 and then we're going to go back to the beginning and finish on number 2. Okay, when I look at number 7, I see that we've already got in the y's, when we look at those y terms, we've got -9 and -9. Okay, so that's a start. We've got two of the same number this time, except they're both negative. Okay, so we need to find something that we can multiply that keeps the number but turns it positive instead. And that number is -1. Okay, if we can take the whole entire top equation and multiply it times -1, what that does for us is it keeps all of the same numbers. It's still going to be 2x and 9y, except they're both going to be positive now. It's still on the other side of the equal sign. It's still going to be 25, but now it's positive. Okay, so multiplying times -1 is like the math behind what just happened, but the effect, what actually did, like what we actually wrote down, was just all of the same stuff except the opposite sign. Okay, the sign of every single one of those terms got flipped around. So now when we try and do some elimination, we add our equations together. The y's get eliminated because we've got a positive and a negative. And we end up, when we add those together, with -2x and +2 on the other side. -23, +25. Combining gives us +2. So a little quick division. X is -1. That's half of our final answer. And I'm actually going to take this x and I'm going to plug it into our modified original. Okay, I'm going to plug that one in right there to the modified one. So instead of 2 times x plus 9y, we now have 2 times -1 plus 9y. So we ask ourselves, how do we get rid of that -2 at the front? We're going to add 2 on both sides. I already wrote 27, didn't I? Getting ahead of myself. We add 2 on both sides. 9y equals 27. All right, so obviously right there, that's going to lead us to y equals 3. We take those two parts of our answer and put them together. X value -1, y value of 3. All right, the last problem that we're going to get to is number 2 from the front page. Number 2 on the front page. Okay, this one is different from those other ones in that we don't have in both of our variables x and y, the terms have the same, they have the same sign, and they're not opposites. They're not the same coefficient. So what we have to do is we're going to have to take one of those variables, we're going to have to turn it negative, and we're going to have to change the coefficient so that it's an opposite. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that top equation and multiply the whole entire thing times -3. Okay, if we multiply every single part of that top equation times -3, that becomes positive 21x. It becomes -3y, which is what we need, right? We need opposites in there. And that's going to become positive 57. Okay, so after we've modified it, we're not using this top equation anymore. The reason I'm scratching it out is just so we don't try and get mixed up and start using it. Okay? We add our two equations. We've got 19x, and those y's get eliminated. That is going to be equal to 38. If 19x equals 38, that means x is 2. Okay, that's one part of our final answer. I'm going to go ahead and plug this one in. You can use the original equation. You could even use the equation that we scratched out. I'm going to go ahead and use the modified version because it ends up being pretty quick and easy. Okay, I'm going to use the modified version of our equation and plug it in right there. Okay, so that becomes 21 times 2 minus 3y. Okay, so that's 42 minus 3y. When we get rid of that 42 by subtracting, we end up with negative 3y equals 15. So that means y is equal to negative 5. Okay, I am trusting that we all know how to solve an equation that starts off like this up here at the top and ends up with y equals negative 5. Okay, those two things right there that I've circled in blue, that's our answer, 2 and negative 5. Okay, so the key thing that you're looking for to do elimination is opposite terms. If you don't have opposite terms, you need to multiply to create opposite terms. Okay, that's the key thing that you're looking for is opposites within those equations. If you don't have the opposites, you multiply and create them. That is all of the notes for today. Y'all have a good one.